Hey y'all, this is my introduction video for what will hopefully become a multiple part series sharing my understanding of cognitive functions and types. So what kind of types are we talking here? You're probably familiar with 16 personalities, MBTI types from a test you took online in high school. Maybe your workplace gave you a test. What I'm going to be sharing is not exactly those, but more like a cousin with the same name. So what purposes does considering types have? What are the benefits? I'd honestly say nothing substantial. If someone intended to use this to unlock the secrets of psychology and become a mind reader, they would be in the wrong place. It's not an instant self improvement tool where you can repeatedly tell yourself affirmations and be who you want to be. These theories offer tools for introspection and connecting and understanding people. But much of that work is on you as an individual. So it's a tool that can assist you, but you have to do the work. Other than this, I think the main benefit it offers is that it's fun and it's intriguing. So if you like observing people and wasting time thinking about things like me, you might be in the right place. So why typology? And do we know that it's a pseudoscience? Well, yeah, we do. Some people will contest the pseudoscience part, but I would honestly agree with it. There's nothing scientific about typology. We are not using scientific methods to observe and test an imaginary typing system. So what if we made it a science? I've seen some people try to do this, and while it's in good merit, it is relatively impossible by the normal scientific standards. Psychology itself tries to hold to these standards, but humans are inconsistent and unmeasurable. So for example, you can test and retest a rock. It might be the same weight or it might be less weight, but at the end of the day, we can make objective measurements for physical things like weight and mass. The mind is not physical. You can't test it and retest the same individual for consistency 50, 100 years later. They're going to change, they might be dead, it's just not consistent. So why typology? Why not stick with normal psychology? Many studies in psychology, as it stands, it's with groups of people that it studies, and then just makes correlations between those things. So it doesn't ever choose to believe anything, as it's just going to say there's a likelihood that these two things are connected on a stronger or less strong basis. So science itself doesn't take an ultimate truth ever. Even if you dealt with more physical things, it's only going to say that its current findings are consistent and not disproven. But there's always a possibility to be disproven later on. And this is a good thing. But if science itself does not have an objective truth, then what do we believe? I think that we're still allowed to play with ideas and make sense of them logically to construct our own beliefs. There's bias in self observation, but that doesn't mean that there's not some truth to our experience and what we observe. And I personally don't believe that cognitive functions are something physical in the brain. They're not a piece of genetic code that DNA holds. They're just simply placeholders to explain a pattern, a process that similar individuals have. So, again, nothing physical that we can measure. So, why am I making content? There's plenty of YouTubers out there, and they deserve an honorable mention. I don't claim to be a great pioneer of any sorts. I've seen some people claim their systems to be the truest form. Systems can be perfect, they can be mathematical, but people are not. So, what I want to share with you is what I've just personally found discovering typology and hope that you have an open mind to discover on your own and piece things together yourself. Sources. Many people operate out of their own preferred system, and you can consider me somebody who's just putting together a puzzle. And I add some of my own ideas on top. Carl Jung is a foundation for all things related to cognitive functions. The most popular models from Jung's work are the socionics model, the John Beebe model, and the MBTI one. I've learned a few things from all of them and kind of put them together. Some names you can look up to find where I pulled most of this information as far as YouTube goes is Eric Strauss, OPS, or Objective Personality System, C.S. Joseph, Asha Augusta. You'll more find people talking about her than anything by her, and Michael Pierce. And so we might talk about this more later in the series, but for now, those are some big names that you can just kind of look out for. What are some drawbacks of typology? As you may know, identifying with a type, whether it be astronomy, a golden retriever, or an anime character, can lead to seeing yourself a certain way. It's easy to see ourselves as one-dimensional and give ourselves superpowers, so when we take our best qualities and think it makes us special above others, it also leads to not taking accountability where we messed up or need to grow. And even if you know what your kryptonite is, it doesn't mean that you can blame your kryptonite every time you were shot by it. You need to learn to dodge it or make armor for it. Just get around it in some way. What are some issues that I have with the typology community? Some issues that I see frequently from the spaces I've been in is there's a lack of respect for other people. There is an irony in trying to learn about others when you do not consider what they have to say. Some people may identify with one type, but others think you're a different one, and while either of you might be right, simply telling the other person that they do not know themselves better than themselves, non-constructively, gets people nowhere. Along with this, there can be a sort of typism, where stereotypes can overtake our view of other people and box them in. It's a common critique of typology. I also frequently see this problem of gatekeeping. People want to talk about typology, but they don't give a warm welcome to any newcomers into the community. Sometimes they can tell them to go get more educated before allowing them into the conversation, and there are people who are very Puritan. If it's not exactly like the rules of their system, they won't listen. So sometimes you can find a very religious cult-like circles where people gain the most points by having the oldest sources. A community that holds accolades above people is not a community. So, if you still want to proceed, my advice for you is to discover limitlessly. The hope here is that we can learn anything from anywhere, and I encourage you to go find your own info nuggets, your own sources, etc. Observe things in your own life, take notes and ask questions, verify ideas and beliefs to truly understand things, and try to take in multiple arguments and see what points are fair. Discuss, but not debate. It's not about what's wrong, who's right. When you talk about this stuff, just try to be open. And lastly, if you get really into this, like I did, share with people what you're learning and allow them to go on the journey with you, but don't force it. Nobody likes to be around those annoying people. So with that, I look forward to making more videos. Bye.